Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play The Legend of Zelda Oracle of Seasons. In the last part we got here to this random lethal lava land ripoff, and now we're going to continue on. Now I forget who exactly states it outright. No, I do remember. Essentially, you can just take my context clues by what they're talking about this stuff. This place is called Subrosia. And it's also where we have our first minigame. This is the Subrosian Dance Hall. It's similar to the graceful Goron minigame with the rolling ridges in Oracle of Ages. What you have to do for it is match the moves that the red Subrosian in the middle does. The little twist is hitting the A button, and then you just match the movements with the D-pad. Whenever that red Subrosian move twitches right, you go right. Whenever she twitches left, you go left. Also, it took me until about 4 years ago to realize the fact that these things had two eyes. If you look at the sprite, you can obviously see that it has optical senses of some sort, because you can see those lights coming out of the hood. For years, I thought that was one eye because the red line in the middle separating the two looks like a pupil, but no, it's actually just two separate eyes. Anyway, for doing that, you get the boomerang. You get this much earlier in this compared to Ages. Like in Ages, all it does is freeze enemies, no damage at all, unlike Link's Awakening, where the thing was broken. Hence why you didn't get it until the end of the trade quest in that game. Now, one thing I want to bring up is the map of Subrosia, which I should do momentarily. You're going to notice that it is significantly smaller. However, Holodrum as a whole, the overworld essentially, is bigger than both the past and present of Labrynnas. I like that they did that, because the past and present of Labrynnas were both the same size, whereas this, they make one bigger and making the other one smaller. That's a nice little detail. And we finally come. When the temple was buried, I thought perhaps you wouldn't come to see me.
This Temple of Seasons is where we four spirits reside. I've waited a long time for you.
Do you like spring or summer? Fall, perhaps?
But no, you must love winter. Get the Rod of Seasons and visit us who wait in each of the four corner towers. One of us.
I don't know where those voices came from, but they did. But yeah, this is the Temple of Seasons. When Onox said he sunk it into essentially hell, he meant it. Anyway, but coming over here, we get this little thingy-majigger. We got the Rod of Seasons! With the powers of the season spirits, it can change the seasons.
Now bring the Rod of Seasons to us season spirits in the four towers.
Okay. Well, one thing I want to point out is that there's actually, as usual for video games, something behind the waterfall. Also, the Rod of Seasons works kind of like the sword, except it doesn't damage enemies. Now, this room, if you're playing Seasons second, is completely pointless. However, if you played Seasons first, you would get a response to a secret here in the linked game from Ages. But they told us to go to the corner towers. We can only access this one, however, for now. The boomerang is actually an optional item, but it's the best way to get to that little switch there. You can use bombs, though, and then fall into lava and somehow miraculously survive, unlike Deku Link. Well, actually, Deku Link doesn't die, he just gets the room reset. Hello there, fairy.
Thank you for coming, child of the crested hand. The spirit of winter has been waiting for you. Din is our dear friend. Now let me bestow the power of the spirit of winter on the rod you hold. When you swing the rod from atop a stump, the seasons shall change. In winter, the waters freeze and the snows pile up. Visit the other three spirits, too. Please hurry to Din's aid.
Okay. There is one other effect with winter, and that's the fact that certain trees lose their leaves in open paths. Anyway, I cut out of there for time purposes. Hello, Maku Tree. How there's leaves in essentially hell, I'm not sure. So the item was actually the Rod of Seasons. New roads will surely open with its power. I dreamt of woods in the east. There may be an essence there. Link, can you go for me? Oh, fine. These people make me do all this stuff. Oh, hey, Sakura, how are you? That's it. I think I'm getting their voices mixed up now. You have the Rod of Seasons. If that Rod of Seasons held the powers of the season spirits, you could change the seasons. But I see it only has the power of winter. Swing the rod from atop that stump. Its powers will be unleashed. Do you understand? Yes, now stop talking to me, dude. If the Temple Seasons has sunk into some land called Subrosia, there must be other entrances to the Subrosian land. You must find them. Perhaps you'll even go to the Temple of Seasons again. So we part. Also, note, for every season you get, a little logo is added to the Rod of Seasons on the menu. So now we have winter. Now, before we do anything, I actually want to head south a bit first. Back towards where the Song of Storms guy was, or phonograph guy as his name really is. Because there's something we can do over there now. Also, the Gacha Seed is there now, and I got a ring. Anyway, now we're back over here. And now that it's winter, the snow is piled up here, which, if you're going for 100%, you want to do. Don't worry, that song will get some showtime later. Anyway, you want to do this because it's how you get Piece of Heart number 2. That one's pretty much handed to you. Admittedly, with seasons, you don't need as much health, honestly, because you get buffed up really quickly, so, yeah. Anyway, you gotta want to head up here. By the way, there's a great fairies fountain over here if you need it. Because now, since it's winter, this tree no longer has its leaves, and what if you came here otherwise? And somehow walking 3 feet to the right made it summer again. You know, I get that from a gameplay perspective, but not so much logic. Then again, it's a fantasy game. Who needs logic? Anyway, you're gonna want to bomb this cave open so you can access this chest, which has 30 rupees. Oh, and that also, as I mentioned in the last part, in between parts, I did go and buy a Gacha Seed from the 100 rupee advanced shop. It's right next to the all-knowing birds, who are essentially the tutorial birds once again, like from the last game. Anyway, once again, we want to make it winter because of reasons. And when you do that, you can now access this house via its chimney. I love that. Anyway, this person here decides to actually question why it's suddenly winter. And since there's snow there, she's blaming us for this and gives us the shovel, which once again allows you to dig up any tile that is natural to the world other than certain concrete ones or tile. It's also the best way to money grind, so I think in a couple of parts I'm probably going to do some mass money grinding in Horon Village. Also note, the highest tree on this screen, the one that's almost directly to my left, well yeah, just the highest tree on that screen, you can burn it to find an old man's cave. However, I don't recommend doing that because he's one of the mean old men who will take rupees from you. I think he takes 50. I see you there, Piece of Heart! Next time. Anyway, these are the trees, by the way, that lose their leaves in winter. And now we've pretty much made it full circle. We're actually one screen east and one screen south of where the lake that we froze was to get over to this side of the forest. What you're going to want to do, get rid of that now since you have the shovel, and we can get mystery seeds. Like in Ages, these have varying uses depending on what you use them on. More often than not, though, you're going to use them on the owl statues to get advice. Because, I don't think you actually use them on a boss fight in this game, unlike Ages. Anyway, there's this mysterious cave over here, which turns out to be level 2 Snake's Remains. I actually have a really big nostalgic connection to this song for some reason. Anyway, you're going to want to light these lanterns up first, but not head up immediately, because we have to get some stuff in the west first. Blade traps are back, as I mentioned in the first dungeon. Just keep on moving, they should not hit you ever. Best reward in the game, obviously, 5 rupees. This is a pretty basic room. Then again, a lot of the rooms in the game are like this. Kill all the ropes and you'll get a key. Like I've mentioned multiple times throughout Ages and a couple times in this, there's not going to be as many puzzles in this game because this game's more adventure, action-based. Don't get me wrong, there's still going to be some puzzles, and some pretty decent ones, actually. if I recall correctly. But it's mostly going to be punch everything to death. And yet again, another kill them all room already, except we got a simple puzzle. You need to push that block to the right. Oh, so difficult. But for doing that, you get the compass, which is the rare occasion you get the compass first, actually. And you can see there's quite a few chests in this place. I actually don't know why, but I really like the idea of this place in terms of the look. Gee, I wonder if there's something to the left. Though, admittedly, I didn't know there was something here until playthrough number 3, which is kind of sad. Anyway, bomb this wall, and you find green rupees, which aren't worth 1, actually. They're worth a random amount, depending on the one you get. And I mean, every time you play the game, it's random. However, I know for a fact it has to be anywhere between 100 and 250. There is actually a ring you can get by this point in the game that doubles your rupee amount. And you can get it in ages, I want to say, first. So you can potentially max out your money there if you have enough. Which is ridiculous at this point. Anyway, well, we want to head north for reasons. And we got some bumpers or hardhead beetles. Which one are they called again? I forget. There's a chest there, but we can't get it just yet. Oh, great, this room. This is a room where you either have to use your sword with really good timing or use your bombs effectively. Because you need to kill both the pig moblins in order to get the chest to appear in this room. I do believe the plants in here not only respawn over time, but they can hold bombs. But for doing that, we get the power bracelet, which is back from ages. Like in that game, we can now lift pretty much any pot. And it controls the exact same. Hold the button and use the D-pad. And now we get the dungeon map. Let's check out what this looks like. A snake! Who would have thought? But with that, I'm going to need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, and in part 4, we'll be continuing on in the snake's remains and hopefully finishing it in the process. See you guys then!